The history of the seatbelt, one of the most impactful inventions ever made in the realm of safety, is a fascinating tale of innovation and dedication. The creation and evolution of this life-saving device traces back to the late 1800s and, over time, has saved countless lives on the road. In the late 19th century, the groundwork for what would become the modern seatbelt was laid by an English engineer named George Cayley. Cayley designed these belts to keep pilots inside their gliders, leading to the birth of the first rudimentary seatbelts. In 1885, Edward J. Claghorn, an American, was granted the first patent for a seatbelt. Claghorn's creation was a harness designed to keep tourists secure while riding in New York City taxis. This marked the first instance of a patented seatbelt designed for use in vehicles. The incorporation of seatbelts into the manufacture of cars began in the 1930s. Physicians in the U.S. began testing lap belts and were quick to recognize their potential in preventing injuries during accidents. They urged car manufacturers to include seatbelts in all vehicles. It wasn't until 1954 that the Sports Car Club of America required drivers to wear lap belts during competitions. The following year, the Society of Automotive Engineers appointed a motor vehicle seatbelt committee, marking the first significant push for the use of seatbelts in the automobile industry. The real game-changer in the history of seatbelts came in 1958 when a Swedish engineer, Nils Bohlin, invented the three-point seatbelt. Until then, cars were equipped with two-point lap belts that strapped across the body, with the buckle placed over the abdomen. Bohlin was hired by Volvo in 1958, and he designed the seatbelt system we know today. This three-point design secured both the upper and lower body. The simplicity and effectiveness of the design led to it being adopted by other car manufacturers. In the U.S., the idea of seatbelts as a safety measure gained traction, and by 1966, American vehicles were required to have seatbelts. By 1975, most first world countries had adopted similar requirements. The world's first seatbelt law was created in Victoria, Australia in 1970, which required passengers to wear their seatbelts at all times. In the U.S., seatbelt laws came around the time of the creation of the National Traffic and Motor Vehicle Safety Act of 1966. Once the safety benefits of seatbelts were recognized, sales of seatbelts skyrocketed. Auto companies offered seatbelts as optional equipment, and they were even sold at gas stations. Over time, states began implementing laws to enforce seatbelt usage, and by 1995, every state except New Hampshire had click it or ticket laws. Ford demonstrated its inflatable safety belt in 2001, where a shoulder belt containing an airbag would inflate instantly when a car is in a collision. Other car manufacturers are looking to make the seatbelt more comfortable and convenient for drivers. From the experimental safety belts to seat belts tailored to our individual bodies, many experimental seatbelt designs could affect the way we drive in the future. Despite the evolution of the seatbelt, it wasn't always safe. In the 1940s and 1950s, many Americans were against the usage of seatbelts. Today, the conversation around safety remains strong. Over 90% of Americans now use seatbelts regularly, proving that public perception is always changing. The seatbelt has not only made a significant impact on the automobile industry, but has also influenced other industries. The airline industry, for instance, makes use of seatbelts to ensure passenger safety during flight. In recent years, manufacturers have been developing new types of seatbelts to improve safety and comfort. Some of these innovations include inflatable safety belts and seatbelts designed specifically for pregnant women. In an ever-evolving world, the seatbelt remains a simple yet powerful safety device that has changed the way we drive. As we continue to innovate and improve upon this design, we honor the efforts of the past that have led us to a safer future on the road.